Hello everybody, this is Gamertag Your Willy for another video tutorial. This tutorial is actually one of the ones that was in the moderator event. It's one of the winners. It was suggested by Forger Mike 7. So he asked how to make big maps. Now he was referring to like large scale maps. And I already kind of did a tutorial on that, my cache saving one. Unfortunately, he didn't feel that, he felt that was more for small and medium maps when it was actually for medium and large maps. Because for small maps, you don't really need to worry too much about cost, you need to worry more about confinement, making it too small. With medium and large maps, especially large maps, you absolutely need to worry about cost and replacing objects with cheaper objects and making sure that you spread out your objects and not focus on one category. So this tutorial is based off of one that, or not based off of, was requested by Forger Mike 7. So let's go ahead and, oh wait, I have some, who are you? Oh, you're the WombatOfDoom. Yes, the WombatOfDoom is here with me, and I'll go ahead and let him explain why.
Well, this is a Forge map that I made, the very first Forge map on Halo Reach that I did. And, well, it's severely lacking in terms of experience when it comes to Halo Reach forging system. It's kind of like my experiment at learning the basics, and so you can definitely tell, which is why I said, hey, Willie, you can rip this apart all you want, because it's so bad, so.
And as he stated, it's not the best, and why? It's his first map, so if I see any comments that say, this map sucks, good job, go home and get a cookie from your mom or something. We know this map sucks, we've stated it, so I will remove any comments like that, because really, don't make a fool of yourself. But, let's go ahead and see this map. Yes, don't make a fool of yourself like that rock right there. Now, this is the map. It's meant to be an invasion map. So it's one of those 3-phase thingamajigs that I made a tutorial on. If you guys haven't seen it, you should probably see the 3-phase thingamajig tutorial. But be aware that's why it's designed in this way, where there's kind of a piece together fort, castle that's being defended, and a piece together fort for the attackers. So that's why it looks the way it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and start off the tutorial on this corner. Now you can see on my price there at the bottom it says $115. It's actually $35. Now we already made some modifications just to make the tutorial go a little bit quicker, but the original map was just $35 left. We've already fixed it a bit, and I'll already show you what the fix is, which is why we're going to start here. Now these two pieces, they look cool. They're corner pieces. They are basey. They have a window. It is beautiful. Not really though. The reason why, they're two building pieces. That's $300 right there, where you might think, oh, $300 isn't much, I got 10,000 at the beginning. Well, when you start adding things up, 300 becomes 600, which becomes 2,000, which, you don't really want to spend building pieces. One, you only get 12 of them. Two, they're expensive. So, we replaced these two. So I'm going to go ahead and remove them and get a floating doom. Ha, you fall. So just removing those two alone, I got $400, and you can replace them with a much cheaper piece. You can see over here, we got cheaper piece on the left, expensive piece on the right. Now, the cheaper piece is only $70, where the more expensive one's $150. It serves the exact same purpose. They both have a ramp, they both have the corner piece, they both have a roof. That one has a gun turn in it, and it both has a window. Works pretty much the same. That you don't want. This you would want. Actually, this one wasn't the $70 one. This is $20, $40, $50. This is $50 right here. Why I said 70 was when we first redid this, we had two block pieces down here to make up for the original piece having a longer bottom. But you don't really need it. It's not required, and it doesn't look bad from the bottom. And it does save you $20. So actually, this is the $70 piece, so it even was cheaper than I originally stated. Now, you definitely want to replace building pieces with these pieces if you can. and especially since of their price. I mean, if you go into this gun turret, you can still see perfectly fine. You can actually almost see better than you can with the other one, because you have these huge opening windows. Yeah, it does give you, less, cover, but you can definitely use it for the gun turret, and it does look good. It doesn't.
Kind of like this corner thing better than the.
Yeah. Me personally, I kind of like it better too, especially since you have a lot more opening. The other ones kind of feels confined when you get inside. Another section that can be replaced is these two rounded areas. You want to explain why you did it that way?
Well, these long bridges here kind of stuck out. I didn't really do a lot of angle snapping, like any specific angles. I kind of just forged the map together and started with this round thing, and then made the side walls. And I wanted to connect the two. Didn't really have a plan when I was doing this. And I made this big long bridge here. The problem is, this didn't line up with a 45-degree angle, so I needed to make something that was curved in order for it to line up with the circle. Especially since a lot of things stuck out on the other side here. So that's what I did, and you get this nice texture glitch here. And I'm using 3 pieces for 1 piece. And there's definitely other ways you can rework it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and show you a bit. One, for the texture glitch, if you really needed something that's cornery but it's glitching out like that, just lower the hair a little bit more. There we go. See, no texture glitch, yeah, has a little bit of a bump there, but really, if anybody's saying, hey, it's up a bit, they deserve to get assassinated while you're looking. But to really save money, you definitely need to remove those completely and replace it with something else. Now, you could replace it with the diagonal small, but you got to be careful with these because, well, diagonal small, let's get under that. Ha! Caught it. I should flip pancakes for a living. That was a joke, by the way. Now, you do have that worry that you got to stick out, so you got to make sure that you move it in.
Ow! What happened?
Thumbs up for explosive kills. Now, edit coordinate just to make it a little bit closer, and lower the hair to make sure you don't get the texture glitch. And there you go, you got that corner piece. Now, obviously this bridge piece doesn't align properly, so if you were gonna work it exactly, you should probably have it stick out like that. And there you go, that's a little bit better. Once again, you do want to make sure your map is forged to fit the requirement that you need, but I mean that one piece saved you $40 and a texture glitch. So definitely do that instead. And if you felt like you could put a traffic cone here for aesthetic reasons to make it look like it's unfinished on purpose, or you could just leave it the way it is and it's a nice little drop down from this area to this area. So that alone is a much better fix. And also with these two pieces, he did it that way because it holds on both sides, but you really don't need it, especially if you're trying to save money. Instead of doing that, go ahead and put it dead center instead, and that looks a little bit funny on the back side, yes, but it saved you $50. So if you need $50, there's $50, and here's another $50. Just for figuring out calculations, go ahead and remove that. And so you already saved almost $700. Yeah, you'd use 50 over here and 50 over there, so it's more like 600, remove another 50 there. But still, we're already saving a lot of money. So let's go ahead and continue with the center here. This part looks cool. It's interesting, but it's purely for aesthetics. You built this right for this center piece mainly because it looked cool.
Right. And this is kind of like where they deactivate something down below.
Yeah, you can see the area here for the invasion game type. Now, it looks cool, yes. They're not expensive pieces, yes, but you're using a lot of them. So instead of making a circle out of this, if you need the pieces, which for this tutorial, we're saying we always need the pieces and money, we can go ahead and remove half of that. And I had coordinate locked on. Woohoo for me! Or rotation staff, I mean. But you can go ahead and replace it with one of these. It was 5 degrees, I think.
Yeah, 5.
You can replace it with one of these instead, and you can even do it for half of it. So you already saved 20 bucks there alone, and you still have this actually pretty cool looking piece. You got this kind of like middle part that looks like hourglass. You kind of got edges here that you can use, and then edges here you can use to fall down, but you save $20 just because you use a 2x2 corner instead of a 45-degree corner. So those are things that you need to keep in mind. You don't have to use it completely 100% for that part. You can use it for half the part and still get a cool look. I mean, that does look pretty sweet, and the texture itself looks pretty cool. Another major fix that is just amusing on my part when I first saw this, he's trying to save the dolphins here. You can see with the shield, you can't shoot the dolphins out there in the ocean. Yep, save the dolphins. You don't need $200 for this cool little effect. Now, obviously, like we stated many times over, this is his first map, and that's why he put it here, to add this cool looking effect. But $200, really? You could leave it blank completely and save $200, or if you have the windows and all that, you can use one of these instead. I just made it multiple angles, woohoo, for me. Let's get you can put one of these instead. Now, yeah, the angle's not right. It's one of those 5-degree angles that takes forever to align. There we go. So you can put that instead, and you got a window look that you can see the ocean. Or you can replace it with a $10 2x1, which gives you a cool fill look as well. And it has that cool glossy look and the textury, lines in the back, which, looks cool. It's $10, not $200. So you save a lot of money just by that, or a lot just by keeping it blank, because I mean, just this object alone is a decorative $100 piece. Don't need anything more if you don't need it. Let's see, what else? Oh, these things. They're $50 each, so that's $100, and it's made to stop vehicles from going over. We're going to leave those. Why? There's 2 more down here, which really don't stop vehicles, especially if you go around the edge like that. So these are purely decoration, which you don't need if you're trying to save money. You already have them up here. Don't double it unless you have the money for it. Whoa, we already saved $100 so far. More like $850, but still, that's a lot of money we've already saved. Another major part that you can replace on this map is these side pieces. They're here to, be secondary edges and all that, but they're kind of bulky and they don't really fit the map. I mean, this piece alone, you can only get in around there, and if you jump on the explosive, which, is $20 or $25 there just as a step, then you got this ramp here to help you get in there, and then you got, a $10 piece here just to fall down a hole, because there's not even anything there. Yeah, it brings you to these vehicles, which we'll get on that later, but, you don't need this, and because you don't have that, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need that, and you don't need that. And you can replace it with cheaper parts, like building blocks and ramps. And of course, it's on the other side too, so you can replace those, save money. What was that?
And platforms.
And platforms. So there's a lot of things you can do to use as alternatives. Yeah, that was a cool large piece, but really you could probably save money in the long run just by using smaller pieces. Even though that one big piece filled a lot of area, it took a lot of small pieces just to get it to work. I'm pretty much done with my part of the explanation. I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Doom for his.
I'm over by the jail. And as I said, it's the jail. Basically, it starts off the beginning of the map with it open so people can get the sword. After about 30 seconds or so, these bars appear and close it off. And well, that's well and good, kill the sword campers, but or at least trap them. But if you think about it, this piece here is 150, and each one of these antennas here that I'm using as bars, they're $50 each. So that's $300 to trap somebody in a room it's not really very cohesive to map making. And just if you really, really want that jail, if you really want it, you could even save money by, instead of having bars, you could just put like a double window in from the windows and walls section. So like this, you can still see through. It appears after 30 seconds, and they'll still trap somebody in there. And that way they'll just die of, suffocation instead.
Definitely a money saver.
Die. So maybe you even want to like put a little bit of a hole in the top, so you throw grenades in there, let them be able to breathe something. There. Now they're all dead, nice and dead. So moving on, we've got this whole big mess of structures out here. As you can see, it's kind of just lots of buildings slapped together. And we've mentioned buildings a couple times. There's been a lot of buildings we've gotten rid of on this map. And this is another instance where you can just get rid of a lot of buildings and save your money by making your own buildings. Like, you can get a whole lot more creative. It'll look a lot more interesting. And it won't look like you just took buildings and slapped them together and tried to make walkways. Kind of like those exterior walkways Willie was talking about with the decorative walkway covers.
Yeah, if we wanted something that looked like you put macaroni and glued it on a piece of paper, then we would probably go to arts and crafts. But we want something that's forged, something that looks cool. And yeah, you can use building pieces as a part of it, but for, Doom's first map, you can definitely tell the beginner's mistake. I've done it kind of in some of my maps. I kind of caught myself when I was making my first map, the Fort Stanwix one. But, building piece here, coordinate locked pretty much to make a match, and one down here. Well, that doesn't look very good, and you can definitely use them as an idea base, I want a structure that kind of looks like this. Then remove them while you recreate them using building blocks and ramps and platforms and bridges and all that stuff.
And then as a side note, I made like walkways to get different places. This right here, never make something where you have to jump, especially when you have to crouch jump to get up it to go places. Like that's just like anywhere where you have to jump is going to be a low priority place to go. You really want to make like ramps or something. And another thing is I placed a lot of explosives around the map. I love me my explosives, but there's a lot of them all over the place, and they're in the attacking area. It's like nobody's going to be there anyway, so why do I have them? And they cost $25 each. So say you have four explosives that you don't need, you're saving $100. That's 10 building blocks or 10 rocks or whatever you want to put.
Especially with what he was saying on this is the attacking side. So this is not the side that's getting defended on, that's the side that's defending. If you want explosives, put it over there. As you can see, there's already some explosives around that area. Right now there's more than there should be, or there are some in areas that don't need it. But here, the defenders aren't going to be attacking here. Why would you need an explosive here? Well, to stop the sniper. Yeah, well, most snipers will probably grab that and then hide up in the mountains there or something else. They probably won't be standing next to the explosive that's going to never go off, ever. So it's a waste of money. Same with some of the ones that were here, like there's one here in this corner. Well, this one's never going to be shot at. I mean, in a bazillion games, it might kill 3 people. That's not efficient. There's so many more. I know I'm missing them right now. There's one up here.
Just think about your gadgets. Like the gadgets all cost a lot. Like whether it be a shield door or
like the one right here
that's randomly out in the middle of nowhere over here. We can get rid of that. All kinds of things. You can just.
By the way, that was a man cannon or grav lift or whatever you want to call it that he erased over here.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't see that?
No, I was looking at the armor lock, which is $50, which is one of those corner pieces we custom made.
And then, of course, we have the mother of all errors here. If you come to the top of the mountain.
Yep.
Willie, you might want to detail this.
So, he put this on because, you know, first map, messing with all the new gizmos and gadgets, and of course the rocket hog was one of the items that Forge allowed you to use now. So he wanted to put it on his map. So he put it here as, you know, rocket hogging the base. Well, move it back for a bit to where it was, and I'll show people what you can see with this thing. Nothing. You can see that little corner of the base, so obviously you have to move it. Well, why is it up here in the first place? That was the worst drop from your supply unit ever. Like, you gotta climb down the mountain.
I guess a falcon up here or something. But
yeah. So, you know, you gotta be wary of your locations, especially with vehicles. Like, that's 150. And I've seen people put vehicles up in random places, like up on the mountains or on their base, and then use the small, medium, large nice explosive. There's a landmine there that probably will never go off either, so you probably don't even need it. But if you go down to Decorative here, the railing, $50 each. I've seen people use railings to keep warthogs and the mongooses in place. Now, think about it. If each of those are 50, you need 4 of them to hold 150 vehicle. That's a lot of money that you're spending. That's $200 just to hold it there, and then an extra 100 to keep it there. So that's, what, $350 just to keep something that shoots? And it's probably not going to be used all that often. You are better off, if you're going to even do anything like that, use a shade tern, which, you know, Doom doesn't like, and I prefer not using them often either. But, you know, at least use a shade tern or a manual gun tern, because the mountain gun turns are like $75, which are half the price of a shade tern. You can put one of those down, at least those can be picked up and carried around. So that's definitely a no-no. You do not want to waste that much money on your map. It could definitely be used elsewhere. I mean, look, we've almost saved $2,000 here just for those minor changes alone, especially with the building pieces. I mean, this piece, it reminds me of that Paradiso remake that is on matchmaking that I really dislike. It was in the Chatting with Willy, the first one, I believe. Why did, I mean, look at, this is pretty much exactly what that Forger did on that Paradiso remake. Put that down and placed it. This looks ugly. It doesn't even look like a car garage. I would never park anything in something like this. Even a beater, a gas guzzling beater that will probably catch fire, I wouldn't park in something like this. Make something cool and save yourself money. Like, I can't stress enough, building pieces need to be used wisely. I'm done with that part. Is there anything else that you want to point out?
I guess the main thing is that you're making a big map, like something for, you know, an invasion or like a large area, like a hemorrhage map, like something that might take the whole canyon. Be aware of, like, spacing. Like, you don't want to have everything crammed in one section, but you also don't want to have everything like spanning a large gap with open spaces. Try and have a good balance of, like, close things and far things. So, like, that's something that I did here. It's something that's nice and balanced. Like, I have this big structure here with tight passages, and then a field in between with some cover to break it up, and then more tight passages over there, and then, like, you know, fields in between and things like that. So, yeah. Like, think about, like, how you're using your space while you're making your spaces, because that's another thing that a lot of people have trouble with, balancing negative and positive space, where what I mean by that is negative meaning open space and positive being closed space.
Exactly, especially if you're making a large map. If you got to decide what you want to do before you make your large scale maps. Do you want 2 large bases? Well, that's fine. You're probably wanting them to be closer together, because I've seen people use the canyon and make a huge base on one side and a huge base on the other side, and you have nothing in between because you used all your pieces. That's fine and good, but nobody's going to want to walk across a large space. They're going to skirt the outskirts of the canyon the whole game, and it's not going to be fun. it's better to make a lot of different smaller bases. Yeah, make 2 medium-sized bases and 3 small bases, and then put a lot of rock and cover and debris, make it look like a structure fell over. You're pretty much going to use the same exact amount of pieces, but your map's going to look a lot better, and it's going to look a lot bigger. Now, I'm pretty much covered all the major parts of this map. Yeah, there's more that we could have fixed and all that, but time's a wasting. And thanks you guys for following me through this tutorial. I hope this helps you guys, and definitely watch my cache saving tutorial, because this is more meant to be built upon that one, as more like an experience. So the cache saving describes all this shows it in practice. And definitely want to thank TheWombatOfDoom for helping me out with this tutorial, and thank you for showing us your map.
Yep, no problem.
This is Gamertag Your Willy signing off.